Hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm just getting myself kind of situated, so bear with me 1 second. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know. Give me that thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me see those thumbs. Let me see. Hello, hello. I see a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today, fantastic day. Okay. We're going to be, good morning from Memphis. Good morning. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Okay. I hope that you're having a great, wonderful morning so far. What I want to do is this. Today, we're going to be going over, okay, we're going to be going over title and deeds. Okay, so what happens is this: it's a situation where title and deeds is basically going to be a webinar that I do all the time. I like to go over title, I like to go over deeds, because these are some of the biggest questions. Okay, so someone said the volume is low. Let me see if the volume's low. Let me increase my mic volume. Okay. Can you hear me better now? Is that better? Let me know if that's better. Okay. Give me 1 second if I could hear the volume a little. Oh, I'm going to try increasing it as much as I can. Okay. So that should be, I'm looking at the decibels on here. Should be good. Okay. Okay, awesome. I might have hit something accidentally with my hand, so I apologize about that. I usually have my volume perfect. Okay, fantastic. Okay. So a lot of people are saying much better now. Yeah, perfect. So I probably had the volume just a little low on the microphone. Sorry about that. So today we're going to be going over title and deeds, but I also want to remind everybody, just so that you know, okay, because I don't know if you know about any of our upcoming webinars that are coming up. So I'm just going to do a little shameless plug. And while I'm doing my little shameless plug and letting everyone know about this, what I'm going to do is this. First and foremost, let you know that if you haven't hit that like button, please go ahead and do so. Okay. What I'm going to tell you also is this: if you are in a state that you have math on your exam, I'm going to be doing a math webinar on Saturday, January 29th from 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. To 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going over math. So how do you get to that site? Just so you know, to sign up, I will put a little post-it note up here so that you know. Okay. So the site is going to be www.mathwithstu.com. Okay. So mathwithstu.com. Okay. Oh my gosh, that came out awful. So I'd have to lower the size of my there we go. That looks a little better. Mathwithstu.com. That's what you would do. So mathwithstu.com would take you right over to here, take you to the crash course. You could sign up, register. You have to register, okay? It is not a free event. You have to register. So that being said, okay, also, if you're watching sometime in the future and you're seeing this, I will update that with any of my future math webinars, okay? With my future math webinars. So, what I'm going to tell you is this. Let's jump right into title and deed, okay? Let's jump into title and deed, okay? So, first and foremost, what I like to do is this. I like to go over, okay? I like to go over what is title and what is deed. So type in the chat, anyone who is going to be live with me right now, type in the chat, tell me what title is, tell me what deed is. I want to make sure that we get a clear delineation, okay, a clear delineation on what those two separate things are, okay, what those two separate things are, okay. So, title is ownership. Boom. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Title is ownership. So, if you have proof of title, okay, if you have proof of title, you have ownership to the property. Okay. You have ownership to the property. So, now, and let me ask this question. Okay. let me ask this question. What is a deed? What is a deed? Okay. So, a deed is the evidence that we have transferred title. It's the evidence that we have transferred title. So now you're probably asking a silly question. Okay. So Leah said that she passed her Louisiana State exam. Great job. Great job. Congrats. Give yourself a gold star. Get out there and sell some houses now. Now the hard part comes. So what I was going to say is this. The deed is the evidence of transfer. Now, my question, okay, my question is this. If I have a deed to a property, do I have ownership? Yay? Nay? What do you say if you are in the chat with me live? Ramon said, I passed my exam yesterday, Stu. Thank you for the tutoring session. Thank you for signing up for one. And congrats. Congrats on that one. So my question to you before I was saying that was, if I have a deed, do I necessarily have ownership? Yay? Nay? A lot of you are saying yay or nay. The answer is actually maybe. The answer is actually maybe. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to jump into deeds. I really want to go take a nice in-depth look at deeds, answer any questions that you have, okay? Because I usually switch back and forth, just so that you know, if you watch any of my past title and deed webinars, and I implore you to do that. So if you go to webinars, okay, and you just type in title, you'll see a whole bunch of title and deed webinars that I've done. I do those every once in a while, okay? And basically every single one is going to be a little different. I might focus on title in one, more specifically. I might focus more so on deeds in another. Today, I have the inkling to talk about deeds. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to talk about what you need, okay? What you need in order to have, okay, in order to have a valid deed. So, here are the things that you need to have a valid deed. And here's the thing. We are going to get to answering the question as far as why the answer to the question that I asked you before was maybe. Like, maybe you have title to the property. Because we're going to get into that when we talk about the different types of deeds. Okay? Right now, I want to talk about what is going to be the most important thing for you to know that is essential to have a valid deed. So here are the 4 items that I would consider to be essential. Okay? First and foremost, signature of the grantor. Okay? Signature of the grantor. Okay? So, who is the grantor? Who is the grantee? Tell me in the chat. And someone asked a great question, actually, that I want to answer while you are telling me who the grantor and grantee are. So Judy said, so the title and deed are actual documents expressing what each purpose is for? No. So here's what it is. Title is more conceptual. The deed serves as evidence that title has transferred. There are things that would suffice as proof of title. A deed is not one of them, okay? So a title is more conceptual, okay? And you can have different items that would suffice as proof of that, such as a title insurance policy in states that recognize it, a Torrens certificate, okay? That's a very high level thing as far as, like, I don't expect you to know that. I'm not going to sit here and go in depth into that because I think, again, that's really getting into nitty gritty. I think that's something like if I was giving a lecture to brokers that are running brokerages, I might do that, or a law school, and I'm not. So I don't think Torrens certificate you really need to know. Title insurance policy would be proof of title. Those 2 things are really like the main ones. If you had a title certificate, okay, something like that, that could be serve as proof of title. Otherwise, and again, those aren't things that we would say are title. We would say, because the words I'm using, I'm very deliberate about, okay? The word I'm using for this is I'm saying these would serve as proof of title. Because if I had to answer that question that Judy asked in the chat, title is more conceptual, and a deed isn't actually going to be a document, which is evidence that we have transferred title, okay? That we've transferred title. So, the grantor and the grantee. Yes, everyone knows the OREE rule, and I'll reiterate it for those of you who don't know it, okay? It's going to be this. OR gives, and the EE receives. Perla said I'm late. Sorry. Don't let it happen again. Hit that like button, though, since you came in. And also, if you're watching on recording. And remember, do that on all of Joe and Cynthia's webinars as well. I know they don't ask as much as I do, so please go ahead and do that. But if you are late or if you're coming in and you want to hear anything repeated, just a friendly reminder, you can rewind and you can watch these on recording as well, just so you know. So, yes, the grantor is the one that's giving title, right? They're the one that's giving that, okay? And then the grantee is the one that is receiving it, right? So, we need the signature of the grantor. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? We need the signature of the grantor, and what happens is this. We don't need the signature of the grantee. The reason why is because we have another requirement for deeds. In order to be valid, they need to be delivered and accepted, okay? Now, let me ask this question to everyone, and I always like asking this whenever I do a title and deed webinar, okay? How is delivery and acceptance different from offer and acceptance, okay? What is the difference between delivery and acceptance and offer and acceptance? And someone in the chat, Cookie, said, how long should it take to learn all the material and earn a passing grade? I usually recommend, and I'll just answer that question real quick because I know that's a really, that is a great question, and people always ask it. So that's why I want to just take 2 seconds out to answer it. And the answer that I usually say is I say don't study more than 2 hours a day, okay? Don't study more than 2 hours a day. And if you're doing that, a 3 to 4 week time span, I think is reasonable, okay? And again, that's me. All things considered, can someone do it sooner? Would it take some people longer? Yes. Okay. I definitely think that there's going to be situations where there's going to be people who are going to be able to, like I said, complete it sooner rather than later. And I'm giving you blanket information as far as what I generally say. Okay. You have to understand that with asking other people, and even asking me, I'm going to give you the most general advice that I think is the best for the most amount of people. You could be an anomaly outside of that, and also keep in mind, everyone learns differently. That's why we do offer the private tutoring sessions, not to push them or anything, but just to simply tell you, remind you that that is a tool that you could also offer, that you could basically sit down and talk with either myself or Cynthia one-on-one and ask us those kind of questions, and we could ask you some questions that are more targeted towards answering that for you and kind of trying to help you figure out what works best for you, like how you learn. And that's something that, I think is a good thing. I think it's something that it really does help to kind of bounce ideas off of somebody in a one-to-one setting. So that's what I would say there. So again, before I answer that question, which again was a very good one, why I wanted to answer it, is we were talking about the difference between delivery and acceptance and offer and acceptance, okay? So, we said delivery and acceptance is an important part, an essential element, okay, to a deed. What happens is this. Delivery and acceptance is simply, here is the deed, and then you're basically saying, oh, thank you, good sir, okay? And then you're basically getting to a point where what happens is this. The person is accepting it. The grantee is accepting it. Grantor is delivering it. Grantee is accepting it, okay? A meeting of the minds or offer and acceptance basically is saying, hey, here are the terms that we're laying out. Is everything good? Are we kosher on this one? Okay? That's what offer and acceptance is. Offer and acceptance varies from delivery and acceptance. Okay? So it varies from that because delivery and acceptance is just handing someone something and then them saying, yes, absolutely, 1,000%. So there's two other things that are on here, okay? There are two other things that are on here that that we have to go over, okay? Two other things that are on here that we have to go over. The first one is the legal description of land. That is necessary. So in one of my past webinars, I have gone over the 3 different types of legal descriptions of land in more detail. I won't do that today because I really do want to get into and jump to the different types of deeds. I want to cover that today. So the legal descriptions of land, okay, very, 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 very important. And the last thing, okay, the last thing that you would have is the words of conveyance and the habendum clause, okay? The situation is this: words of conveyance or the habendum clause, also known as like a granting clause. This is arguably, I think, the most important part of the deed, okay? This outlines what type of title that you're going to be taking and what type of freehold estate is transferred. So I'm going to write that down here so that you can kind of see what I'm saying, okay? Let me just zoom in a little bit. Bear with me as I kind of just get myself situated. So this says, okay, what type of freehold estate the grantor is transferring and how the grantee is taking title to the property. Okay, so is it tenants in common? Is it joint tenancy? Okay, so all those kind of things are going to be in the granting clause. The habendum clause also has the word, so some of you know that the habendum clause, okay, have basically the words to have and to hold. That's how the habendum clause starts, okay? So these are the essential elements of a deed. So does anybody have any questions for me based on what we just went over? Okay. So someone asks, is there no math in California? Yes. I probably will be buried 6 feet under, and I think that that's going to be one of the things that are going to go on my tombstone. I think I say it so much. There's no math on the Cali exam. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I don't mind you asking it. It's just funny because it's something that I probably say at least once a webinar. But again, if you do need help with the math, okay, I do math webinars every other week. I have a nice long math webinar that is in the prep agent is in the webinar section. So you just look up crash and you'll see math crash course. It's a nice about hour and 45-minute webinar. And I'm also doing a really long, in-depth 3-hour webinar on January 29th. www.mathwithstu.com takes you there. Okay. So that's the situation there. Okay. So what does habendum clause mean? So the habendum clause is basically starts and contains the words to have and to hold. So it's basically the whole entire thing. It could be wrapped up in one summary. It's basically expressing what type of freehold estate the grantor is going to be giving and what type of title the grantee is receiving. Okay. So let's take a look at the different types of deeds. And I always say, so I'm going to explain to you how I color code this and how I explain this and how I talk about this, because I think that this is super important. And this, hopefully, I break it down to the most simplest explanation I could give. Okay. So, here's what happens. Okay. These are the different types of deeds. Now, what is the difference between each of the deeds? Okay? The difference between each one of the deeds is this, okay? Is basically that, and I'm going to write it in here. It's the grantor's promise to the grantee changes. Okay? And let me explain what I mean by this, okay? In every single deed, basically the difference from one to another is the grantor's promise to the grantee changes. Okay? So what they're saying, what they're guaranteeing, okay? Now, the more in-depth version of what each promise is they refer to them as covenants. They're different covenants, okay? They're different covenants, okay? So we're going to first start with the warranty deed. The warranty deed, and here's the thing, I go from, just so you know, from left to right. I go from the most protective to the grantee to the least protective, okay? To the least protective, okay? So, most protective is the warranty deed, also known as the general warranty deed, okay? So, the warranty deed is going to be where the grantor says to the grantee, I own it and I will defend it against all claims. Meaning, so here's the thing, I coded that in purple, and here's my timeline. So they're going to cover it for any issues that occur before the grantor took title, while the grantor had title, and after the grantor has title. So they are going to say, I have title to the property, and I will defend it against any claims. So what could a claim be? That could be someone saying, hey, I have paramount title. I have a superior title to you. It could be a long-lost relative coming out through the woodwork, okay? Things like that. So that would be the situation there as far as the what was I going to say? The guarantee, the warranty deed or the general warranty deed, okay? So someone asked, and I get asked this occasionally, Stu, what program do you use for the Post-its and the whiteboard? This is a whiteboard app called Miro, Miro.com. I personally really like it because it's an online app. So literally I could use it on my, what was I going to say? I could use it on my iPad. I could use it on my iPhone. I could use it on the computer, all those different things. So I really like it. So let's keep going. So the next one's going to be the special warranty deed. Okay, special warranty deed. And here's what the special warranty deed is. It's when the grantor says that I own and will defend it against my acts only. So what happens is this, okay? The situation here is, during the grantor's ownership, they're going to warranty it against anything there, okay? They're going to warranty it against only the time that they owned it. Taylor said, is anyone else bothered by how much he says okay? I say okay a lot, but that's A-okay. You know what I'm going to tell you is this. Yeah, I appreciate it because you also say, love all your videos. Yeah, you know, and this is why I always say, each of the instructors has a little different way of presenting things, saying things. I'm going to tell you a lot of how I present and how I teach comes from a situation where I have ADD. So I am repetitive with with some of the things I say. I have a syntax and a way of presenting things. I'm not going to change. What I will tell you is this. I hope to be a really good instructor for most of you. And what I will tell you is this, like the little sidebar that I have, and the reason why I even bring it up is because I really do, and I do promote this. I promote you going over to seeing Cynthia's webinars, to seeing Joe's webinars, and I promote that a lot, okay? There it is. I promote that a lot because I really do think that, again, we all aren't, I know for 1,000% fact, we all aren't going to, like, there's just no way I could be the perfect instructor for everybody. And again, I don't even take that to heart. I just mention it because, yeah, I do know that I have a way of teaching and presenting, and that's why I'm not a classically trained teacher or a presenter. But what I will tell you is this: I do promote, because I know some of you really love the way that I instruct. I promote that you really do. If you're watching any of my webinars and you're watching them on replay, please, of course, hit that like button. And what else I'm going to tell you is this: head on in and check out different webinars that we have as well. So I left off at the special warranty deed. That's my little rant on the instructors and everything. Okay. So and Taylor even said just messing with you, and that's why I said I really do I know that was sent out of love, and I know that this is a great community, and I will tell you this, I the reason I even pointed it out was because I know that it was sent absolutely in love. I didn't want anyone attacking you, and I did think that it was absolutely hysterical because I just know that that's part of my syntax. That's the way I do things. So that being said, we left off at special warranty deed. Okay. And so here's the thing. The time that you're going to use a special warranty deed is going to be a situation that it's going to be a situation where that is used a lot for your regular sales. That's going to be the one that that you're going to find is absolutely the most common deed, because the grantor is saying, I own the property, right? Okay. I own the property. And they're saying, hey, during the time that I owned it, okay, during the time that I own it, basically I'll cover it. I'll cover that, that time that I owned it. I will cover it against any claims that occurred during that time, which makes sense. Okay. That's exactly how, I remember it. Again, these little words, these little quotations above this, listen, if you're going to screenshot any of my webinars, like this is the screenshot to take. This is like, if you're struggling with deeds, this is the simplest way that I've ever explained deeds and that I always remembered it. Okay. And everyone keeps praising me, saying we love the way you present. And then again, thank you for all that. And I try to make it engaging and interesting. And also what happens is I do all these off the cuff. So I'm trying to interact with you in the chat. That's why sometimes I stumble over my words, because I'm trying to say things and also read stuff there. So keep in mind, just bear with me a little bit as I'm going through this, because even though I've been doing this for 2 years, I'm going to still get to a point, since this is all live, that sometimes it's not as clean as I like it to be. Jessica's question. Where is Jessica's question? Okay. So Nelly said, can you answer Jessica's question if I could see it? Is a special warranty deed, is this the most common in foreclosure? No, we're getting to that. Great question. Okay. Let's talk about that, because the one that's going to be the most common for foreclosures, okay, is going to be the bargain and sale deed. Okay. So again, I said the special warranty deed is going to be used for most sales, right? I said most sales. I said that's going to be the most common. Okay. The one that is going to be the most common for foreclosures, like bank-owned properties, and that's what I mean when I say a foreclosure, I mean a bank-owned property. Okay. The bank-owned property is going to be a situation where they're going to use a bargain and sale deed. Why? Because the owner says, I own the property and I will not defend it against any claims. Okay. I will not defend it against any claims. So, someone said, Paul said, I thought it was quitclaim deed. No, quitclaim deed is usually not used in any sale, because we'll get to quitclaim deed in a second, because I want to still continue with bargain and sale. Bargain and sale, they're making the express warranty that I own the property. Okay. I own the property and I will not defend it against any claims. So like if anyone came in and said, I have a title interest to this property, the grantor is saying, hey, look, that's all you. We're just saying we have title to the property and we properly took title to the property. That's it. Other than that, done. Okay. So someone else said special warranty deeds are used most often when, like a regular sale. If you're buying a home, right? Regular is like a regular vanilla sale. Okay. That doesn't have any weird things in it, like it's a bank-owned property or something like that. It's going to typically be like 9 out of 10 times it's going to be special warranty deed. Okay. That's the situation there. So Jennifer said because they can't afford to defend it. No, the big banks can. It's just what happens is they're not going to defend it against any claims that have happened because they just took title to the property. They haven't owned it for a long period of time, or there might be a situation where they don't know about everything. They just came into a situation where they have the property through the foreclosure process by filing a list pendants, going through the sheriff's sale, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And basically it's a situation where that's the most common one that is used in a bank-owned property. So is a short sale a bank-owned property? That's a great question. A short sale is basically when a seller, so an individual person, not the bank, owns the home. Their property is worth less than what they owe. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little education on short sale, because I think that I don't really talk about short sales that much, and I actually know a lot about them. So let's say that $200,000 is owed, and the property's worth $150,000 market value. Well, what happens is this, okay? What happens is it's a situation where the bank would have to approve a short sale because they would be selling it short of what they owe. The seller has to prove that there's some sort of hardship. You don't just get to buy something and go, oh, fiddlesticks. I'm underwater in my property. That's what we refer to it as in the industry. We would say the property's underwater, okay? And the situation is going to be where what happens is this, okay? It's a situation where they have to approve it. If they do, okay, if they do approve it, it's going to be a situation where, okay, they wouldn't owe anything additional. So, but if the $150,000 is suffice to, is what they could get from the property, that's exactly what the bank would take. They take the $150,000 and they would take the $50,000 loss. Jamie, if you could re-enter your question, I would be more than happy to try to answer it. Because you got to realize these things are coming in really fast, and sometimes things get buried. Okay. So I actually scrolled up and I see it. So I get a question on the exam that said, what makes the deed valid? Signature of the grantor, acceptance by the grantee. Well, there's something missing there, because both of those are needed for the deed to be valid. Okay. So the question could be saying, okay, and the question could be saying, okay, the deed is valid when, so like when does the deed become valid? It becomes valid when it's accepted by the grantee. So in that case, I would say that, right? Delivery and acceptance is basically the final, that's it, okay? If it meets all the other requirements, it's good to go, okay? So that's the situation there, okay? So signature of the grantor is needed. Acceptance by the grantee is needed. However, it's a situation where, again, it becomes valid when it is delivered and accepted. Okay, so if they're going to be talking about that, that's the case there. Someone else asked, when will we be doing a webinar on contracts? There's a bunch that we've done in the past. Go back through the library. I really implore you to do that, okay? So that's the situation there, okay? So let's go on to the last deed type, because we got derailed slightly. However, it's a situation where basically we need to wrap up deeds a little bit. So quitclaim deed, okay? Quitclaim deed, okay? So the quitclaim deed is going to be a situation where the grantor is saying, I may or may not own the property and I will not defend it against any claims. So I could give you, okay, basically a quitclaim deed to Bruce Springsteen's beach house in Jersey. What does that mean? Okay, that means what happens is this. Bottom line is, you would have a document then that says that you have whatever interest Stu had in Bruce Springsteen's beach house. So does that mean that you own Bruce Springsteen's beach house? No, it just means that you have whatever interest Stu had in it. So if I had no interest in the property, you have an official document that says that you have no interest in it. And Rachel, don't ever apologize about what was I going to say? Asking questions, because especially if I address them. I do this because here's the thing. I try to talk in the chat as much as possible without really distracting from the content of what we're doing. But I always tell you, ask any question you want. I have absolutely no problem. How my mentor used to tell me how he addressed questions is he always said, there isn't any bad question, okay? Doesn't mean there's any. He said there's no bad questions ever. He said because the person asking the question actually genuinely has no idea. He said so at some point, even silly questions have to get answered. So that's why I always say this. I say just ask your questions and don't ever worry. I just and I always go off on basically the little side paths too, because I think it's important to address certain questions because you have questions that that you want answered that other people probably have too. So I always say this. I always say thank you for speaking up and asking the questions. Try to get to them. I try to be respectful of everybody, but that's the situation there. So let me just look at one more time. Let's see. Oh, there's a couple questions that got sent in because we got through deeds. Okay. So we're through deeds. Let me ask you this, okay? Are there any other questions with anyone who's here with me live? Okay. So can a bargain and sale be used interchangeably with a quitclaim deed? No, they would really be used in two different scenarios. Quitclaim deeds are usually used most of the time with divorce situations, okay? Divorce situations. Also, what else would it be used for? Family members. Yeah, absolutely. Like family members transferring property. Like my grandparents, they transferred a property over to me, and we use quitclaim deed. Okay. So that would be the most time that it would be most appropriately used. It would be used when it's usually divorce family members. Those are usually the times that, or to clear a cloud in title. If there's some sort of defect that could be cleared with a quitclaim deed, it would be used then. So it's more a clerical tool than anything else, basically. It's very quick, okay? So people often, okay, what was I going to say? People most often call it a quick claim deed. They get that kind of confused. Nelly, thank you for saying that I'm sweet. Listen, I genuinely, I will tell you this, I wouldn't be teaching real estate if I didn't love teaching it. I absolutely fell in love with it 15 years ago, and I haven't looked back. And I love coming in here and helping all of you. I love doing this live. Like literally, I love the webinars. So if you're not here doing the webinars, you're watching this on replay, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up also for Joe and Cynthia because they put a lot of love and work into the webinars that they do. They take a lot of time out of their day to make these good and engaging for you. And please also remember this. Yeah, Rachel, bargain and sale is going to be foreclosure properties, bank owned. And remember this. Again, I'm having the math crash course January 29th. Okay. January 29th, I'm going to be having that. Go over to www.mathwithstu, WITH, and my name is spelled STU. So all one word, mathwithstu.com. It will take you over to this website, okay? And that'll be January 29th, 2022, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, okay. Someone said, can you go over the difference between deeds and title once again? Yep. I'll give you a really quick short version again. Okay. It is a situation where, okay, title, proof of ownership. Deed, evidence that we've transferred title. And does a realtor choose the type of deed? No, that will be legal counsel or the title company. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is this. You are never going to tell them what they should be using. And like I said, that's something that I would say that's borderline practicing law. That should be title company attorneys, anything like that, depending on your state. So, everyone, what I'll tell you is this. Have a wonderful, fantastic, amazing weekend. The website is going to be www.mathwithstu.com. You could sign up all the way up until the day before, okay? And you will be getting an email again. So it's going to be math. I'll actually put it up here. Let me put it on a nice big post-it note, okay, so everyone could see it because you're asking, okay? And listen, and the dog's got to get fed, right? So I'm gonna put it right up here. It's www.mathwithstu. That's me. .com. www.mathwithstu.com. Okay, and if you're in California, don't sign up. If you sign up, I'm gonna be upset. If I see someone saying California, don't do it. It's not going to be a situation. Do I tutor? Yes, I do tutor. Go to prepagent.com. My last final plug for the day, and then I'm going to be going off, okay? I'll be going back to things that I need to do, and I will see you all tomorrow. So just keep in mind this here. Ready? You go to prepagent.com. You go to more. Private tutoring, boom. You could sign up for tutoring with me or Cynthia, okay? So that's the situation there, okay? So you could just hit schedule your session, and that is the situation. So for those of you who are here with me live, again, please remember, hit that like button. If you're watching on recording, hit the like button. And remember, if you're watching any other webinars, hit that like button. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to be signing off. Please have a wonderful, fantastic rest of your evening, and I will talk with everyone real soon.